Hello everybody, this is Louis from LoukProp, and one of the biggest risks when you're buying a resale condo is that you're likely going to be buying at a much more expensive price than the original buyers did, which increases the likelihood of future transactions being actually sold at a lower price than what you actually bought at, which may not be good for preserving the value of your property. So today, we'll be going through 5 major critical considerations that you need to take note of when buying a resale condo in order to preserve the value of your property. Let's go. Okay, while capital appreciation is not a given or a guarantee when you're buying a resale condo, if you follow certain criteria and also disciplines when you're actually doing your search, it will greatly reduce the chances of incurring losses and also boost the probability of you preserving the value of your property. Now let's go on to the first criteria. So first point is transaction volume. Now this is one of the most important criteria that you have to fulfill before you buy a resale condo. Why? Because when we take a look at the transaction volume over the last 12 months, not only does it give you a glimpse into how popular the project actually is, but one of the most important things is to understand the basic mechanics of how prices increase over time. So let's take a look at an example. If you were to buy a property at say $1,000 per square foot, how much would you want to sell at in a few years' time? Maybe $1,300 per square foot? So the person who buys from you at $1,300 per square foot would also want to sell a little bit higher in a few years' time, maybe $1,500. And the person that bought at $1,500 would want to sell at $1,600. So the more transactions you have in the project, you're actually allowing the market to help you to push your prices from $1,000 to $1,600. Rather than just wait for that one miracle buyer that would be willing to pay $600 per square foot above market price just because they like the property so much, right? That's really difficult to find. But of course, one thing you have to compare when you're comparing the transaction volume is the number of units in the project as well. So your transaction volume versus the total number of units that are in the project, this ratio must be a healthy ratio as well in order for you to consider that, hey, this is a good transaction volume for the project. Now, second point would be your area study, right? Other than the usual, locational attributes like whether it's near an MRT, a mall, workplaces, schools, so on and so forth, these are the more important stuff for you to consider. Firstly, transformation, right? Are there any active transformations that are going on in your area that will help you to enhance the livability of that area, enhance the workforce, increase the workforce in that area, enhance financial activities in the area? Are there such transformations going on in your area? Secondly, right, we're talking about land plots, right? Are there any available land plots for developers to buy in the future, right? As we all know, a lot of developers are buying land at crazy high prices. So having these additional land plots surrounding you will give you the potential of a developer buying at a higher price and selling at a higher price than you in the future as well. Building on from that earlier point, you have to also look at whether there's a lot of competitors in your area. What are the competitors like, right? Because having a lot of competitor projects in your area not only dilutes your buyer pool, right? They have a lot of choices to choose from. It also caps your potential capital increase, right? Because of price war among all these different competitors as well. And are you buying at the right price in your area? Are you the most expensive in that area? These all goes into the consideration of your competitor analysis. And of course, you also have to look at the potential buyer pool and their profile in the area. So understanding the right buyer pool, understanding the right profile in your area allows you to know whether you can sell your property fast and who are you actually selling to, right? Whether they have pockets deep enough to go and purchase your property. Now, wait. Before you continue, remember to go and like the video, go and like it now, and subscribe to the channel. Go and subscribe now. Subscribe now. Okay, thank you. It helped the channel a lot. Let's move on to the next point. Go. So next point would be the age of the project. Now, much older condos generally have a capped capital appreciation potential because the original owners would have bought at a much cheaper price than you have. So you would kind of have like a tug of war between yourself and the original owners because they would be able to sell at a much cheaper price than you and still be able to profit. Right. Secondly, if you're talking about maintenance fees, right? Maintenance fees for older projects are generally much higher because of how worn down the facilities, the blocks actually are. So you will definitely incur more maintenance to take care of these areas, which means that higher maintenance costs will be passed down definitely to the owners as well. Also, some of these older projects sell to you based on their assumed en-bloc potential, right? So they would definitely want to sell to you at a much higher price than market value, and you having believed that there is an en-bloc potential, you buy at a slightly higher price than market value, only to realize that actually getting a developer to en-bloc a project is actually not that simple, right? The developers have to jump through many hoops just to be able to en-bloc an entire project. So generally, I wouldn't advise people to go for too old of a project when they are buying into a resale condo. Try to get something that's below 10 years of age in order for you to preserve the value of your property. So next point would be the size of the project, right? So for example, boutique condos that are like below 200 units usually have lower transaction volume. Now, as I've mentioned earlier on in the first point, lower transaction volume doesn't really go well with capital appreciation, right? Also, for smaller projects, you usually have higher maintenance fees because you have lesser units to share the burden of the maintenance costs. And if you're talking about facilities for smaller projects, they tend to be underwhelming because, for example, a boutique condo, there's only one block, will have its facilities in different levels of the block, right? So instead of a 50-meter lap pool, you may get a 20-meter lap pool, you get a very small gym, very small BBQ area. So this all adds into the impression that buyers will get when they take a look at your project. So the last point will actually be knowing whether the unit that you have viewed is owned by a first owner or not, right? Simply put, first owners who have bought during its launch will have a more handsome profit margin over the years from when they first bought. So they are usually more negotiable on the prices than second or third owners who have definitely bought at a higher price, and also because they have bought at a higher price, their profit margin is very little, which means that they are not as negotiable as those first owners. So it will be very helpful for you to know whether the unit that you have viewed is actually a first owner or not. So if you follow these 5 criteria, you're definitely on your way to get a good resale condo property. But if you are confused and you need some guidance on how to do this research, these processes, don't worry, drop us a DM, give us a call, and we'll definitely arrange a meetup with you to go through your own custom planning for your resale condo purchase. So if you like the video, go and like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. It will help us a lot. What other topics do you want us to cover in Real Talk? Leave it down in the comment section below. This is Louis from LoukProp, and I'll see you in the next Real Talk. Hello? Buy 1,600, but the property is only 1,000 per square foot. You still want to buy 1,600 per square foot? Don't tell me you are that miracle buyer?
宝探しだね